Thank you, Kate.
Lots coming out of the office. Have to start out with the job numbers, up to 1,200. Talk with us about what this means.
It's huge. I mean, we made history for the first time ever in Rhode Island history. We have more than 500,000 jobs in Rhode Island. You know, we just keep breaking records month after month of more jobs. And it just shows that we're on the right path. And of course, there's more work to do, but we have to keep going so everybody in Rhode Island has a chance to get a good job.
Do you think we can continue to see this momentum? 1,200 jobs. You've seen the breakdown. What are we really seeing the growth in?
Yeah. So the good news is we're seeing growth across all sectors. We're seeing growth in manufacturing and construction. We're seeing wage increases. That's the thing I look at. They're not just any jobs. They're good paying jobs. You know, it'll fluctuate month to month. But yes, I think we're on a roll, and I predict we're going to stay on that roll.
So we're going to keeping an eye on those job numbers moving forward. Speaking of numbers, the budget that came out of House Finance will be on the floor tomorrow here in the House. Talk with us about what came out of the House after your budget. And I want to start with medical marijuana. You wanted to see an expansion of compassion centers. We just saw an organized group of cultivators saying we really needed this opportunity. What we saw instead was a fee increase for the existing compassion centers. What was your sense when you saw this come out of the House?
So first, I would say at a high level, I think it's a good budget. You know, we just talked about the jobs numbers. You don't have good jobs numbers by accident. We have good jobs numbers because we've been doing good work. One of the most important things in that budget is the $250 million school building bond. That's going to enable us to keep putting people to work and keep our, pedal to the metal on jobs. On the medical marijuana, I was disappointed. I don't think that was the right call. We have a caregiver system, which is really difficult to regulate. We also have to make sure everybody has access to medical marijuana. Massachusetts, I think, is about to go live with recreational. So I would have liked the legislature to do something along the lines of what I proposed, which is an expansion of compassion centers to really kind of clamp down on the caregiver market and professionalize it in the compassion centers.
Do you have concerns looking to Massachusetts as they go July 1st online with recreational marijuana?
I do. I definitely do. Again, that's why I had hoped the legislature would do something now, because I don't want to be behind the ball. We'll have to take it up again in January, which we will do. But if Massachusetts goes live in July, then, we'll be coming from behind. I had hoped we would act now so we would be not coming from behind.
We'll see what happens with marijuana in Massachusetts. Budget aside, things that are still hanging here at the General Assembly, the potential for legislation pertaining to the Pawtucket Red Sox. What we have heard most recently is that there is amended legislation to what had gone before House Finance just weeks ago. Have you seen this amended version?
I have not. But as I've said all along, I want the Paw Sox to stay in Pawtucket. We have to protect taxpayers. There's more than one way to skin this cat. I was behind the initial deal. This is a new framework. I think I could be fine with either, assuming taxpayers are protected. So we'll wait and see what comes out.
So about that protection, we did hear from you following that House Finance version that came out. Again, this Pawtucket Development Agency backing them. But you said the state ultimately will still be the backstop.
Well, the question that they asked me was, is this truly risk-free? And my point was, in life, nothing is truly risk-free. So I think it's an excellent proposal. I think it'll protect taxpayers. But if we're going to be honest, at the end of the day, nothing is truly risk-free. But the reason I want this to happen, I don't look at this as just a ballpark in Pawtucket. I look at it as a piece of the puzzle for Pawtucket's economic development. It's part of a plan that the mayor has. It's down the street from the new train station. So I think Pawtucket deserves a chance to be revitalized.
What do you think of the disconnect? GoLocal had just put forth a poll with John Del Vope that only 13% of Rhode Islanders strongly support this plan. What's the breakdown here?
Look, I think the team did a really pretty poor job the first time around when they came out a couple of years ago. And that was a very bad deal for the taxpayers. I didn't support that at the time. And unfortunately, I think that left a bad taste in people's mouth. And a lot of people still aren't sure of the exact details of this bill. And so, that's a challenge.
Do you think that as we're
Because I find that, by the way, when I talk to people, they say, I'm not for it. And then when you sit them down and take them through the details, the fact that we lose revenue if the team left, then they say, all right, maybe I could be for it.
Do you think there's enough time? I mean, with the Senate side, the past fall, they had numerous hearings, more hearings than they've almost ever had. Do you think the public has a true sense of the nuts and bolts of this legislation?
I think they have the opportunity to. As you said, they had a record number of hours of hearings on it. It's been hanging around for months. So yes, I think the legislature has put in a lot of time on it.
Let's talk a little bit today of a policy issue. Matt Brown, running for Democrat for governor, said that he, if elected, would do statewide licenses for immigrants. Now, this is something that he pointed out that when you were running, said you would do by executive order. Mm-hmm. Again, this from a policy standpoint, from you, when you campaigned, what's your response to this?
Yeah. So first of all, I have been a supporter of licenses since I've been governor. Every year I put forth legislation, and I support it. It's a public safety issue. The Colonel of the State Police, AAA, they all support it. It has less to do with immigration and more to do with safety on the roads. You want everybody who's driving to have a license and insurance. You can't do it by executive order. It turns out the governor doesn't have that power. So I thought, a few years ago when I was less experienced, I thought it was possible. I've since had a lot of legal analysis on it. It isn't possible to do it that way. I think about a dozen other states have done it all by legislation.
Okay.
And so I'm for it. I want it to happen. And I hope it does happen. And we have to do it the right way. Also, look at President Obama. He did a lot of things by executive order, almost all of which have been unwound. If you're going to do it, you got to do it right so it's lasting. And in any event, I think that's what we need to do here.
So we see him running a little bit to the left of you. Do you have weaknesses on the left?
I don't think so. I do not think so. I'm very proud of our record. We just talked about a record number of jobs, tuition free at the community college, triple the number of all-day kindergarten spots. I was in Pawtucket today looking at a new public preschool that they're going to open for the first time in September. So, I've been here working hard for many years, helping Rhode Islanders. That's what Rhode Islanders deserve, someone who's in the community, of the community, on their side, working every day for them.
So with the remaining days of the General Assembly session, what have they not taken up yet from your vantage point that you would like to see done this year?
Mental health parity. So there's an important bill weaving its way through the House and the Senate, which I talked about in my State of the State address, which would require insurance companies to cover mental health services the same way they cover medical health. I really would like to see that passed. I talk to people every day, school teachers. I'm talking to so many school teachers who say these kids need access to mental health, and insurance companies aren't paying. So, right now that's probably my top priority of the other things that are weaving their way through the legislature.
Any others you want to mention before you scoot down to Newport?
No, it's a busy time.
I know it's busy. You've got the event down there, the new visitor center.
Yes.
Lots happening here in the state in the summertime. Keeping an eye on what's going on up here at the State House. Governor Raimondo, I appreciate your taking the time to
Thank you, Kate.
I'll let you go around the corner.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Just about wraps up another day here at the Rhode Island State House. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow on GoLocal Live.